My name is Tinisha Brignoni. I am a filmmaker, cook, and gardener, determined to show you what real Detroiters are thinking and doing. This is Candidly Speaking. This week on Candidly Speaking.
I had a certain amount of drugs in my zipper part of my purse, and they went through my purse and didn't go through the zipper part of my purse.
Wow.
And that was the day I stopped selling drugs.
Yes, that would do it for most of us. Thank you for coming on. So what's been going on with you lately?
Going on with me lately, I've been working at Wayne State still. I work for the Office of Multicultural Student Engagement, and I also work for the Provost of Diversity and Inclusion. So these are like the first time we had these kind of diversity offices at Wayne State, and it's a challenge. Mm-hmm. It's a challenge bringing the graduation retention up for our African American males, right, women, LGBT community. Mm-hmm. We work hard to try to get them involved and stay focused in school.
Right. So has there been a drop in the graduation rate for African Americans in
Yes,
Detroit?
it has.
Really?
And it's not getting any better.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the main reason why they opened this department here at Wayne State.
When did that open?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
So we're growing.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting more and more kids involved. I wish I could get more of the, because most of the LGBT community at Wayne State is not African American kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's prominently gay white females, lesbian white females, and so a lot of the African American kids, they feel uncomfortable because they feel like they can't relate in those types of organizations and communities. So I'm trying to get them more involved and know that they got the support and things like that, because they need it.
They do. That's important. And it's like nowadays, there needs to be a safe place for the kids to go to. I notice there's always a lot of kids on your Facebook page saying stuff to you, and you take a lot of pictures, so I know you take that work very seriously.
I do. They all call me Mama Lena, and I'm actually in administration there, so I'm not a counselor or anything, but you wouldn't know that coming in my office.
Right.
I think they just need people to talk to. You know, they feel comfortable coming there talking about their problems, issues. I listen to Migos like them, you know.
What is that? Is that a group or something?
Yeah, it's a mumble rap group. So I can
Okay.
relate to the kids. And I grew up in that kind of environment. The majority of them grew up in. A lot of people in the university, they don't know that struggle.
Right, right.
Most of those people that's in higher ups in the university, they can't fathom what these kids are going through every day just to make it to class. They not eating, baby. They not getting no book money or nothing. So if I can do is just, be a support system for them and make sure I check their grades like they mama.
Right, that's good.
I get on there. I broke up a fight the other day and had to body slam one of my babies the other day. But
my God.
I did that because instead of them fighting, I don't want that baby to lose that education over something so minute. But she's, they dealing with so much at home.
Yes.
That, I got
and then hormones and aggression and everybody, peer pressure, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So is this mostly high schoolers?
No, there's like college
college
students. Yeah, they're freshly out of high school.
Yeah.
So they still babies.
Yeah, they are. But when I think about fighting, I don't think about college students. But now that I have kids that just started college, I realize that goes on when they're freshmen, when they're that age. Because I went back when I was older. Yeah. So I didn't have that experience as a young person or young adult.
Yeah, and I also, other than Wayne State, because I've been at Wayne State for 18 years doing a lot of different things. This will be the 3rd annual Art in the Park event for organization, me, Councilwoman Glenda McDonald. It's a few of us that we started this organization called Art in the Park. So we have an art festival every year in Highland Park on Woodward. Last year was in front of the old Model T plant. And we was even able to raise enough money last year so the kids can have a summer program. Cool. So we do this for the kids.
Right.
Because, they taking art out of our community. They taking music out of our community.
Right.
And that's dumbing our babies down.
Now, you mentioned that you grew up in an environment similar to them. Where did you grow up at?
Born and raised in Highland Park, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm proud.
Did you have like a 2-parent home, 1-parent?
No, I didn't have I had a grandmama that raised me. I had an aunt raise me. My mom was on drugs most of my life, but she was productive. You know, she worked as a school teacher. She worked as an insurance agent. She taught me a lot about life. But no, I was never in a stable environment. I actually grew up in a pretty rough environment. I had a kid by the time I was 15. I used to work, go to school, and sell drugs just to make it happen. But as I got a little bit older, I realized that, you know, that street activity was not going to help me raise my kids in a proper environment. Right. So I had to learn real quick, real young, because if I went to jail, like the rest of my family and everybody else was going to jail, who was going to be left to take care of my kids?
Is that what motivated you to stop?
Oh yeah, I actually, I was about 17 and I got stopped by the police. And this Highland Park police, so they was like, Miss Yago, get your ass out the car, right? Because, you know, we well known in Highland Park. So I step out of the car and I'm like, start walking towards the police car because I know I'm about to go to jail. So,
right.
You know, I got all this dope in it. Yeah, I was like, I might as well just go and walk over there, get frisked. And I had a certain amount of drugs in my zipper part of my purse, and they went through my purse and didn't go through the zipper part of my purse.
Wow.
And that was the day I stopped selling drugs.
Yes, that would do it for most of us. Some people, not so much. For the smarter ones, that would be a key indication, I don't want to do this anymore.
I couldn't do it no more,
Especially with you having the baby at the time.
Yeah, I had a kid, and my mom, and then you looking at people like your mom, your family members, and everybody getting high, and you know, you helping that problem. You feeding that problem. And for me, Tinisha, I always thought that I always had more respect for a drug user than I had for a drug dealer. A drug user is hurting himself and his own little nucleus, you know, his family, his immediate family, the neighbors or whatever. But a drug dealer is affecting several of those nucleuses, you know. So I thought about that at an early age in life, like, you know, you feeding poison into the community.
And it's funny because I had a lot of people in my family who sold drugs. My brother actually ended up doing like, I want to say 13 years for it. And he has so many misses where the police, you know, he got out the situation. And then that last time he got out, the last situation, they told him, I don't want to see you back here, blah, 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 don't do this. The guy who helped him get out of it told him, you know, hey, I'm not going to help you no more. And that's when he went in for 13 years of federal, you know, in Virginia. Because he was in Virginia and it was a totally different ball game.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, they didn't think twice about locking up a young black male for a long time.
Definitely. Okay, right now we're gonna make egg rolls. I'm gonna call them Mama Lena's egg rolls because I just made these up. And my grandkids, my daughters, my sister, everybody love my egg rolls. So I not only make like chicken, cabbage, and carrots, I also make like beef, spinach, and mozzarella cheese. Those actually taste good with the cheese. And it's filling, you got your vegetables in here, you got your chicken, and it tastes good.
And I see these are nice sized strips of chicken.
Oh yeah.
Are they gonna be torn up later or?
No, because you only need a couple.
I like
it. Yeah.
I like
that. Because by the time they cook up, they're going to shrink down a little bit. And you only need like a couple of those strips in one wrapper.
All right, cool.
In the 80s, man, everybody had a sack, some drug money in the 80s.
Yes. And then it just started, you know, and then like we grew up seeing that, it became the norm for some families. Like I have a family member, now that I think about it, but she's like on a different side, who has sons who dabble and stuff like that. And she's always getting them out of jail. You know, it's always some type of situation. And she acts like this is no so-and-so went to jail, like they're going on summer camp vacation, you know.
Or the families give a guy going away to jail or coming home from jail party, but the kids that's going to college, they ain't giving them books. Oh, girl, yeah, they coming home from jail party, especially the Fed.
Well, I heard it coming home, but not going away to
we've had those in my
bro, you about to be locked up, so we're going to give you a last good party. That is crazy.
Yes.
See, we normalize shit that we shouldn't. Okay, Yaya, so now you're going to teach me how to make these egg rolls and roll them up.
That's the fun part.
Okay, so let's do this.
I'm gonna turn it up the stove on first, so.
Okay, so our grease will be nice and hot.
Nice and hot. Yeah. You want it to be real hot, because this is already cooked. The chicken's cooked, the cabbage cooked. You're just browning, so you're gonna turn them like this.
Okay.
You're gonna take your piece of chicken. These pieces of chicken kind of good, so take them. I usually break them up. If they this big, maybe 2 pieces of chicken like that. Then put your mixture.
Oh, put them in the middle?
Yep, in the middle.
Okay.
Take your mixture, your cabbage and stuff. You can. You don't want to use my hands.
No,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't want to make a mess. No, you can use your hands.
Okay, you got them. That's too much,
No.
TT.
Way too much.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So you're gonna wrap them like this. Fold them over in a triangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flip that side. That side. And roll them up. Wet them.
I screwed up my first one. Yours
That's
was
okay.
better.
That's okay. Wet them. Wet them. Wet them so they'll stick.
Okay.
My father and mother was from Highland Park. My mom's African American. You look a lot like my mom. And my dad was Italian and Norwegian.
Okay.
Yeah, from Highland Park as well.
So when did you realize that you were what we call nowadays biracial?
Well, first of all, I didn't even know who my father was for years and years. My parents got married in the 60s. Mm-hmm. My father was like almost 10 years older than my mom. Mm. So my mom was a teenage black girl pregnant by a 10-year-old older, you know, let's say Italian man, because when you're in those kind of families, Italian takes over. Right. So we're talking about an Italian-American family. Mm-hmm. So my father still married my mom, despite of it all, before they had my older sister. By the time she was pregnant with me, 1968, she was pregnant. As soon as Martin Luther King was assassinated, he left before I was born because his family disowned him for marrying a black woman. Wow. Yeah, my father lives right in Ferndale. Really? And does not speak to us because we're black.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, I met a cousin, his nephew. He says, "Can I meet you out for lunch, me and my wife? I just want to see how you look. You guys are like taboo in our family. You're like a taboo subject."
Wow. Yeah. Because the younger generation probably I don't know, feel that way now, or
well, to say that, it sounds pretty ignorant to me. I mean, come on. That didn't sound like welcoming. Hey, cuz, I want to meet you.
You got me there. It was like, I want to see what you look like. Let me touch your hair type of shit. Right. True that.
So I didn't really know that I was biracial until I got to school and everybody else made a point of it. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't a big deal to me. My mom was always, she never saw color like you in relationships. Her best friend was a Greek woman named Helena, who I was named after. Okay. I was named after Helena. So she never saw race or religion or anything. My mama never judged, so I didn't know. Get you a piece of meat, depending on how big it is. That's one. You only need that one. That's a big piece. Okay. I'm going to put two because I got two little pieces. You got to put your hands in this. You got to put your hands in this. Put it in the middle, right. Fold it over like that. Give you a little space right here. See how I got a little space right there? Flip it that way, roll it up. Wet that in, close it.
That one a little better.
Yay! You did good, that's great.
I know. I watch, obviously I watch a lot of TV, but I watch stuff because of more so research nowadays. And I notice a pattern. I notice on television there's like a lot of black men who always have like white wives. And now I'm starting to see some black women have white husbands. You know, have you noticed that? Like an emergence of that? And I'm trying to figure out what is that about?
Well, the only thing that I don't think nothing's wrong with personally. I just feel like, okay, when black men get a white wife, our community, African American community, starts getting pissed off and say, "Oh, he got a white woman. Why he couldn't get a sister?" But if a black woman gets a white man, they say, "Oh, she done hit a lick. Oh, I'm so proud of her." You know, so it's,
to an extent.
Yeah,
to an extent, I agree. But the funny thing is that, like for me personally, I date whatever the hell. Whoever treats me the best is who I'm with. That's how I feel about it. And if I'm dating a black man and he's not treating me the way that I feel like I'm going to be treated, I'm going to date whoever. You know, this has nothing to do with that. But I just find it interesting that, like, a lot of celebrities, I'm trying to put this in a way that's not offensive, but like a lot of celebrities, they get married to white women. There's some that we don't talk about that's married to black women, have been married to black women for a long time. But we mostly see a lot that's married to white women. And they're not like extraordinary white women. They're just regular, nothing extraordinary. But I feel like if that's the pattern in the media, then why is that the formula? Does that make sense? Like what is
so, you know, Detroit is like, Michigan is like where Superman ice cream came from.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, Superman started here. And a lot of states don't even know what Superman ice cream is. So they got this place called Kitty's Cheesecake, black owned. It's black owned. Black owned, Kitty's Cheesecake.
Right.
8 Mile in Woodward. Okay. And they make Superman cheesecake.
Oh my God.
That's
I think you
best
posted a
thing.
picture
Yes,
of that. I was like,
my
nah, that looked good. And I love Superman
That's my favorite thing
ice
in the
cream.
whole wide world.
Yeah.
I this is my analogy, and I can be a little bit off sometimes. This is what I look at on the outside looking in. We've been so long as black women being such a strong force, you know, strong with having to raise a family by ourselves. You know, this is started from slavery, like we said before. Strong, having to maintain a household, having to work, you know, when you start doing stuff like that to make you strong, to make you, how do you say that, independent, and that leaves us with a certain mindset that yeah, I can do it. You know, and sometimes it overpowers black men and they can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? Because we got such a strong presence and personality, but that's because of conditioning, not because we don't want to be at home cooking and cleaning. It's just because we have to be out there in the workforce.
That brings me to something an older gentleman told me. He was a black guy. He told me that in America, that first you had the white man, then you had the black woman, then you had the white woman, and at the bottom was black men. That's what he felt like as far as status was. He felt like it's easier for black women to be strong and, you know, control things and gain wealth than it is for white women. What do you think about that? Because
we're strong. Like the first woman millionaire was Madam C.J. Walker, you know, because we're stronger.
They
you know,
like
they didn't have
acceptable. Like the white man is not going to, because, you know, that's probably gonna piss off people. But white men tend to embrace strong black women.
I'm not trying to be racist or anything right here, but I think we're stronger than white women. Like even a strong,
and they know it.
Even a strong white woman, you know, because
they
they didn't have to endure all the things that we did.
But that comes from even before slavery. I feel like in Africa, you know, it was the norm for black women to be a part of the political process.
Queens.
So I feel like that comes from that, and that's just in our DNA. But so much shit is fucked up that it's sometimes harder for black men to, you know, there's an exception, because I see plenty of beautiful, you know, black couples or whatever, but it's harder for them to accept a woman who may talk a certain way or, you know, have that confidence and be strong and be, not that I don't love you, not that I don't need you,
that's
but
why
you know,
I'm single
I can
now.
also survive, right? It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, especially in Detroit. You know, in our community, it's not a lot to choose.
It's not. It's not.
It's challenging.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, okay.
We got the last one.
You want, okay.
We got extra.
Yay.
Okay, I don't know how your moms always taught y'all to test the grease, but we throw
water.
Yeah.
Me too. And I had to do a disclaimer on that, but it's like if you stupid enough to throw a whole bunch of water in there, then I don't know what to tell you.
This.
Right. That's how I learned.
Looks like it's hot enough. We can drop them like it's hot. Drop them like it's hot.
So, you have a sister, right? It's only two of y'all, right?
Yeah, well, I have a little brother, but he has a different father than us.
Oh, okay.
He's the same age as my son.
Right.
Yeah.
So y'all like 3 years apart?
2.
2 years
2 years apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She 5'9.5" and I'm 5'2".
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, so growing up, did you guys get like a lot of discrimination? Because you said you didn't even know you were so-called biracial back. I keep saying quote because I feel like that term is bullshit,
yeah,
but whatever.
I say a mutt.
Right.
I'm a mutt.
But did y'all get any type of, you know, you feel like you were picked on at school or anything like that?
Yeah, that had a short time period of getting picked on. We started beating everybody ass.
That's you know what? That's exactly what when I grew up, it was always the mixed kids who were always fighting and tapping that ass.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they were picked on more, especially the girls, you know? Because there's this stereotype that you're going to be weak or, you know what I mean, submissive. So the other kids would pick on them, and then those kids would be fucking crazy when they fight it.
Yeah, well, you know, we grew up in a community that's color struck, and you know, a lot of my mom was a dark-complected black woman, so I didn't know nothing about the dark skin, light skin, dark skin stuff.
My kids never experienced that
Yeah,
shit
so
either.
I didn't know until I got out there in the world, and even in the workforce now, even in the corporate world, so a lot of times we, as biracial, light-skinned African American women, we get judged soon as we walked in the door. We that light-skinned bitch that think we fine.
Really?
Oh, all
I
the
can believe
time.
that.
I still get that to this day, and I'm 50 years old.
That's crazy.
That's that light-skinned bitch that think. My boyfriend's mothers never liked me, you know, because I'm that light-skinned bitch that got my son whipped, you know.
Wow.
So
That
it's
is
always been like that.
Right.
And not knowing that I came out a black woman's ass.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? They
yes. My daughter, I feel like, and sometimes I feel like that makes you overcompensate a little bit, because I feel like that makes you more, you feel like you have to be more tough and you have to be more
black.
Yes, yes, because I feel
Jesse
like my
Williams.
oldest, and she probably won't watch this, but exactly. My oldest is, you know, my kids are, their father was Hispanic, but he grew up basically black. He didn't even know he was Hispanic till he was older. And, you know, his father was a dark complected, you know, Puerto Rican, and his mother was very fair skinned. But they never talked about, you know, color and things like that growing up. And so he didn't know until he was in middle school. You know, kids were like, what are you? What are you? He's like, what you mean? They're like, what color are you? He's like, well, I'm this color. You know, he pointed to his skin. He's like, no, what's your daddy? But he had a stepfather. He's like, well, my daddy your color. They was like, oh, okay, well, you black there, you know. So he, okay, I'm black. So,
right, whatever y'all want me to be.
Yeah, so he's like, okay. But then later on, you know, he started learning, you know, that he was Puerto Rican, which is still descendants of Africans.
Afro-Latino.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but it becomes an issue only within our community, I feel like. Usually in the winter I bake a lot, but I've been doing Candidly speaking instead, so
that's going to be a lot better for our community.
Right.
We need you to do Candidly speaking more than bake time.
Yeah. Plus ain't nobody here to eat them, so.
Or do you have the empty nest syndrome, Tinisha?
Not as much. I did at first, but not so much now. Now I've adjusted, and I keep pretty busy. Like my daughters never talked about, you know, that, whatever. You know, now that they're older, people come up to them, what are you? You know, and it's hard for them to say that, you know, I'm Hispanic, because they don't identify with that. They didn't grow up that way. They didn't have that part of their culture other than a little bit that their father knew to teach them. But most of that came from, most of their upbringing was with mama, because, you know, I was the primary parent. And so I have one child who, and they're 3 years apart, who has moved totally away from everything that's not black. You know, she's like, I'm never dating no white guys. I'm not dating this. You know, she loved darker the better. You know, dark men, that's all she dated. Which
She's
is
kind of smart.
Right.
I like her. What's her she
at? You know, I love that about her. You know, whatever makes you happy is what I tell my kids. Whatever makes you happy, I don't care. And then I have another child who's a little more open-minded. You know, she's like, you know, he's cute, but still she leans towards African-looking men or African-American men. But the funny thing is, like, she's trying to connect with the Latino or Hispanic. I don't like to say Latino because I feel like that's bullshit.
Weird. Yeah, I don't like to say that
because they're not Latin. They're Puerto Rican. You know, it's a whole nother can of worms we can talk about on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But anyway, she tries to connect, or she's starting to connect with that. But those groups are so different. You know, Puerto Ricans are completely different from Mexicans.
Yeah.
You know, Cubans are different. You know, the culture is different. The language may be similar, but basically it's all different ethnicities. But because of colonization, we try to group them all as one. And so when the question comes to what are you, that they get, you know, one wants to say, I'm black, blah, blah, blah. You know, she like, you, right? Like, I'm black, da-da-da, all that other bullshit, whatever. And then I have one that's like, well, I'm Afro-Latina. You know, they both have the same mother and father.
Right.
And I just let them, I feel like they can work that out on their own. I don't pressure them anyway.
When people ask me, what's your nationality? And I was like, oh, I'm from Highland Park. Basically, I am. I don't try to identify as nothing. But I don't, like, you know me, I'm super black, militant or whatever, but I'm not going to deny my white heritage at all. I mean, that's a part of me, my chemical makeup. That's my ancestor. I want to be an old lady with a bunch of cats.
No, you're not.
With a vibrator.
No, you just have to, like I say to everybody,
I might have to leave Detroit.
Yeah, and don't limit who you date, which I don't think you probably would, but hey. Like,
I might.
Really?
I might. I've never dated a guy who wasn't from Highland Park.
Stop lying.
No.
Oh, that's real limiting then, damn
Yeah.
it.
Credits to my sister.
But you still been with him.
My sister says I need to stop blue sign pimping.
Girl, it's time to step out the comfort zone.
Well, you know, it was easy because, you know, it was people who grew up the way I grew up. People I knew that I didn't have to worry about who were their parents, where were they from. I already knew their whole life story.
So that you had very long relationships too.
Oh yeah, I never had a short. I was just in a 15-year relationship. We got a 13-year-old daughter.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So this is like foreign language, foreign world.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
And we older now, and it's like, damn, is this gonna happen?
Those look beautiful.
I grew up in a church called Bethelite Spiritual, and our church was not like any other black church. Like, all my life we've been going to River and praying. All my life, like, we would walk into the church and wash our hands with like holy water, and before we even enter the church.
Wow.
Before we even started church, he would frankincense up the whole church.
This was considered a Christian church still, though.
But it was called Bethelite Spiritual. It was a storefront church on Hamilton and Highland Park.
Okay.
Reverend Hawkins' father was from Haiti. He lit prayer candles. He gave us anointing oil. He read us. He did not want any money. It wasn't no tithes and all that.
Right.
Everything he paid for in that church, he worked at Chrysler all his life, and he did all this stuff from the bottom of his heart. So when he passed away, all those things that I learned, I'm trying to figure out where can I find. I couldn't find that in no other church.
Right.
Nobody else was doing those things that, you know, we was taught in that church.
It's like, what's going on
So
here?
right, so I feel like I'm losing my spirituality, like, because Reverend Hawkins is dead. You know, like, where am I gonna find this, you know, to fulfill me again? So I started asking Kalima about the Yoruba, and she was like, you know what? I know this guy who's one of the best priests in Michigan. His name is Mike Banish. You work with him at the hospital. I'm like, how's that stuck-up Polish white man gonna teach me about, you know, a traditional African religion?
Right, right.
And the same thing you said about his disconnect was he does not have that. And he's a Polish white gay man, and he does not have that disconnect with spirituality.
Right.
He's special. He's
right,
special.
Right. True. And that's another thing that I wonder about, or I feel like people, like, okay, I feel like there's, you know, I don't feel like we ever really die. I feel like we come back and we just keep doing the same shit.
We matter.
You know, yeah, because I just don't feel like we can just, you know, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in heaven and hell, because that's just me. Yeah. And so I just feel like, you know, I don't feel like our spirits aren't going to be limited to just one color. You know, I feel like I even feel like animals have spirits, in my opinion.
They do.
Because, you know, I've seen some stuff, I'm like, okay, you know, I don't know how you explain
we contradicting ourselves when we know
Yeah.
everything started in Africa. So when you migrate, you change colors. So we contradicting ourselves with that black and white shit. And that's the divider. That's the divisor here in the whole situation.
So we have our completed meal, which is our cabbage and chicken stuffed egg rolls. They look delicious.
They are.
Courtesy of Helena.
Thank you. I've been eating on them. They good.
Right. So, all right, let's eat.
Okay. What we did was we got a little sweet and sour sauce to dip them in. I love these things. Look at that. Is that delicious or what? We gotta make sure we save our crew some.
Yes. This is not what I expected.
No.
It's good.
Did you hear what Roland Martin said about Monique? They Twitter beef. And he was like, you ain't get the money because you and your husband is unprofessional.
It's the truth.
I believe it.
You get what you demand, and you got to carry yourself a certain way. And her husband is running a business, which is a bad idea. I mean, obviously.
It's probably why he married her.
Right. He must have some ooh-wee. Because I ain't about to put my millions in your hands and you don't know what the hell you doing.
Do you think they really be having that ooh-wee for real, or just the bitch be desperate for just to have a partner?
I think he's giving her the ooh-wee.
You think so? I think that role she played in Precious, just the way she acted for real. I don't think she was acting.
Well, that's them. White people have never seen no shit like that. So like, let's get this bitch an Oscar. Because ain't nobody that fucked up. No, we got fucked up people like that.
Oh my God.
the French words. They're such weird words. They lie.